lady who speak tonight, and I met with Marty on a weekly basis for an hour for, I don't know, a few months, a couple months, 3 months. We had a lot of talks. We were working together, moving each other forward, holding each other accountable. Okay? And I found Marty to be a really great individual, great person. And she was wanted to write a book, and she used to talk to me about her wisdom chair, which I'm sure you're going to hear a little bit about that tonight, because I see her book over here says the wisdom chair. And we moved through, and she got her book done, and she did everything, and she came out. Bill, be careful, you know, before you start endorsing my book and talking about it, you may want to read it first, you know, you might ruin your reputation. So, you know, she came out with this hot flashing women, you know, she wants to help these hot flashing women. I go, whoa. But I wasn't worried about that. I'm kind of into mystical stuff a little bit. I'm not crazy into it, but I do understand a lot of it. Marty's a licensed marriage and family therapist with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. So she comes with credentials. Now she's an author. She's always augmented her training and her credentials to prove the probability that her clients would benefit. Therefore, Marty trained in mindfulness techniques, creativity for healing, and wellness. Influenced by ancient practices like the medicine wheel, the sacred hoop, or stone monument. I'm not going to go through a lot of this because you may not know what it is. I'll let her explain that. But during her 16 years as a counselor, mentor, and advocate, trainer, coach, Marty has provided over 10,000 hours of services to over 400 clients. So what they say makes you an expert in your field is what? 10,000 hours of practice and work in your field. So now that makes Marty an expert automatically and an author. So let's give a big welcome to one of the finest, beautiful ladies on the planet, Miss Marti Morehouse.
Yahoo! So very much, Bill. I appreciate that great introduction. And good evening, GNA family. Woo! Woo! I'm grateful to have this opportunity to be in front of you this evening, and I want to say that I wish for you great health, great love, tremendous wealth, and divine wisdom. So that is my wish for all of you. And, you know, I'm having that experience, and I know what it feels like, so I want you to join me in that. And thank you for what you said about walking away from these meetings with something really relevant to business. So I'm hoping that what I have to share tonight will provide something. Welcome to Closing the Deal with Hot Flash Ladies. And that is the title of this presentation. And I will repeat that. Closing the Deal with Hot Flash Ladies. And I came prepared to share some wisdom regarding this question. Is your pitch, your product, your service, or your pickup line appropriate for this population? Who are these women? We are women living with the symptoms, impairments, trials, tribulations, pleasures, and victories of the menopause transition. We may be in our 30s, or we may be in our 80s. So you cannot define us by our age. We represent all nations, so you cannot define us by our ethnicity. We are tall, short, large, small, so you cannot define us by our physicality. We are crazy and completely sane. We are angry We are sad, we are joyous, happy, afraid, fulfilled, and unfulfilled. So you cannot define us by our feelings and emotions. We climb mountains, cook great meals, kick butt. So you cannot define us by our behaviors or our interests. We can move along a spectrum. We can go from a hot flash to a power surge in a flash. Some of us ladies are desperately trying to navigate the symptoms of menopause, and we're trapped in its that happen in our lives. Others of us are managing our symptoms and stepping into our power in an instant. I'll ask you though not to judge either the hot flash lady or the power surge queen, because we all deserve to be respected. We are your mothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your sales agents, your CEOs, and your DJs. And now listen to this. This is important for us business people. Please listen to this. According to 2014 State of Women-Owned Businesses report by American Express Open, women have been soaring past men, averaging increases 1.5 times the national average in terms of business ownership. There are nearly 9.1 million women-owned businesses providing jobs for 7.9 million people and generating, listen to this number, $1.4 trillion, according to this report. So I'll ask you, how many of you want to be part of this trend and share some of those trillions of dollars? Anybody?
Yeah, send me those.
Okay, all right, yes. And then my next question is, who in this room feels like their pitch, product, service, or pickup line could be improved for this population?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. So I am going to skip past some of this because we really use a lot of our time, but I do want to share a couple of scenarios with you. Let's say you're a heating and cooling specialist and repair person, and you've been called by a woman to her home to come and fix her air conditioning. And I think some of you may be able to relate to this. Yes,
I already know.
You know where she's going with this, huh?
So she's talking about her air conditioning, and it's cool. So, it's cool inside, it's cool outside, but you walk into her house, and it's exceptionally cool. And you're a heating and cooling specialist, so in your mind, it's the time of season to be thinking about heating. But she's saying, do not stress heating. Talk about cooling. And then the benefits of also having heating when she needs that. But stress the cooling. She's fanning. I don't care if you're cold. Talk about cooling. Wow. And that's pretty simple, right? But we don't always think about it. Especially in winter, we're thinking, let's get the heating system. No. Give her what she needs. And then the lovely thing is she's still going to get the heat when she needs that, because we do have hot and cold sweats, by the way. And I want to talk about spring and summer wear. Let's say you have this wonderful new line of spring and summer wear. Let's go to shoes. You've got some fabulous shoes that you sell. And she tells you her size. Hasn't bought shoes for quite some time. And you bring this great pair of shoes, and she tries them on and looks down and, these hurt a little bit. Have you thought about the possibility that as a hot flash lady or power surge queen, our feet spread a little bit when we get older? They do. They might have been the same size, that size 8, until we were 50 years old. And when we're 51, it's an 8.5. Do not try and force her to squeeze her foot into that size 8. she is going to get you. When she is truly standing in her power, she will get her revenge, whether it be passive aggressive or straight on, because you have done her a disservice. Our feet need to be comfortable. Now, I also have another example. If you're offering financial services or insurance.
Wow.
Yes. Someone sold me death insurance when I was in my 30s. I paid on that for about 5 years, and it just hit me that was not what I needed. Insurance for my daughter to go to college would have been appropriate. Insurance that I could have borrowed on at some point later would have made more sense. At 30, burial insurance, now that's not to say I could have died at 35. But I'll tell you, by the time I gave up that insurance, I was pretty hot with that person for selling me a product that I did not need. And overselling me on car insurance for a car that was not worth insuring if it had been stolen. It really wasn't. I would have been better off not paying insurance and asking somebody to steal a car. So, sell us what we need. And if you are listening, this applies to anybody, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, give people what they need and listen to their stories. Don't just sell the product because it's the latest one to roll off the line. Sell the one that she needs. And if your product, for some reason, does not fit her need, perhaps there's an alternative. And maybe that alternative is your competition. But what a wonderful thing to do for her, providing her service or this alternative, because she may have a friend who needs your service. And because you were so good to her, she's going to suggest and perhaps recommend her friend to you. So I want to say, and I'm going to skip a lot of this because I really want to get to the mastermind part of our evening, because that's what's going to help you as individuals. But I do want to say one last thing. I want to talk about vitamins and supplements. If you are that person providing those kinds of things, is it good for metabolism? Because we've gotten to a place in our lives where we're gaining a little weight. So don't give us something that is going to encourage weight gain. Is it good for her bones? Make sure that her bones, the fragility of her bones, because it does change, that your product is good for that. So again, back to that point, make sure what you offer is appropriate. And we've got a lot of money to spend. You heard those trillions of dollars. And this is just women in business. There's trillions more out here just waiting for the right product and service. And I'll talk a little, I was going to talk more about your pickup line in regards to these women, but
how about you do that real quick, right? Don't skip that.
Come on, jeez. Hey, hot stuff.
You know what? You found money, you want to skip it. We want pickup. Yeah. Come on, Marty.
All right.
We'll go over
a secret. It is so
simple. Trying to get me
simple.
to dance.
It is so simple, guys. Really, it is. Be yourself.
That's it?
You know, and love who you are before you approach her, and have no plans to change her. Let her be who she is. To sell her anything. The main thing, you loving you, is what you bring to that relationship. Any relationship. You loving you in a business relationship makes it more interesting, makes it more comfortable, makes it better. And it might seem weird. What you talking about? Love yourself. Well, when you are loving yourself, you are presenting yourself more professionally, more lovingly. Look at that. Look at this. The way he just reached over. I mean, that's love. You know, and the smile on your face right now is priceless. Yes! That's what I'm talking about. You can have that kind of relationship, not the intimacy necessarily that you see here, but intimate enough that she is going to buy your product because you have respected her. You have loved yourself enough to feel confident enough to present in such a way that is appropriate. So really it's about relationships. So you know that. Know, like, and trust. We all know that. So you being honest, standing in your integrity, loving yourself, and presenting whatever it is you have in an honest way. You know, you don't need a pickup line, guys. You know, you really don't. You know, I mean, he had one 28 years ago, but you know, it wouldn't work today. Now that I am a high first lady, howitzer queen, yes, it would not work today. Not that one anyway.
You're speaking of experience, huh?
Yes, I am. So I'd
That would
like
have worked
to.
back then.
Yeah.
Please come next month for my speech.
So really, I'd like to know from someone here in the room, do you feel like your product, service, and we'll not do pickup lines tonight, that your product and your service and your pitch are appropriate for the population of women experiencing this grand rite of passage?
Yeah.
How many of you feel like your product, service, and all right. So your pitch, is it appropriate?
Probably not.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like a pitch is the same line, but at least in my business, I try to get as much information first.
Yes.
I believe in discovery and survey.
Yes.
First, and then tailoring to that. And as you know, because you're my client,
Yes.
give you all the options, and then structure it so that you can afford to do it, and so that it will be effective within your business plan, you know, as you see it.
Now, if there was something that you could not provide, would you be willing to then provide an alternative? Someone who just might be your competition?
Absolutely.
That's important. That is a very important point. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, about 98% of my business is women. But for the men that are there, when they're showing me their house or whatever, you know, or carpets or whatever I'm doing,
Yes.
I do it for his wife
Yes.
every single time because she's the one that has that final approval.
Yes.
So I take a little extra care in getting that done because we all want to make her happy when she walks into that door and she sees that the house is smelling nice, the carpets are looking good, the upholstery's clean, and I base all my entire business on that.
Yes.
All of it.
Absolutely. Anything else? Anybody else? Yes.
It works the same way for men. And
Yes.
I'm not necessarily saying hot flash.
Uh-huh.
Men go through their changes in life too,
Yes.
different than women.
Yes.
Wired a little differently than women. Different, I'll use the word, I don't mean to load it, hot spots. When I see people, they're generally either in distress or in turmoil. You know, if it's a contract or a business deal and they want to do some negotiation or something like that, there's some turmoil, not distress around that. And you have to get underneath that, just like what you're saying. You have to get underneath that to figure out what the dynamic should be in the negotiation or in the sales pitch,
Yes.
or however you want to be wording. It's not so different. Just kind of.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and again, just making sure we know who's in front of us. Man, woman, transgender. You know, these days, there's a whole population of people who are transgender. You know, so if it happens to be a man looking very much like a woman, there are certain products that are not appropriate. So you really need to start paying attention, folks, to who's in front of you. So at this time, there are a couple of things I want to offer. I have a couple of giveaways, and did we collect the cards yet, or?
We haven't collected the cards, so why don't
So
we
let's
just
do
this?
that.
Why don't we collect the cards?
Are there any questions?
How about we have your amazing vice president, need a card collector next.
Okay.
Give him
All
a little more
right.
exposure, he's a great guy.
All right, honey. We're gonna make sure we've got everybody's cards so that we can do a drawing for several things. And while we're collecting those, I want to say that for those who could possibly or might need or want or have a desire for some coaching in the area of pitch or pickup lines, I do provide coaching services. And one of my very favorite new programs is the Wisdom Chair program. And it is based on this very amazing book that I started writing in 2011 as a letter to my daughter, and it just kept going from there. So this is a copy that we use for editing, but I will pass it around just so that you can take a look at it. I brought two. These were copies that Paul and I were editing together. So they're, at this time, yes. Yes. Okay. And this I brought along. This is the workbook. If you were to enroll in the program, this will kind of give you some ideas about what we'll be working on. I only brought one of these, so I'll just send that around. And I just thank you for indulging me and taking a look. You know, I've been in sales for, I don't know, since I was 15, and I'm how old? 53. So I've been doing it a long time, but I just want to feel good about it and I want to share it. So I'm sending it around for that purpose. And do we have all of your cards? We have everyone's cards because we do have some wonderful giveaways tonight. Even though you may not be a hot flash lady or a power search queen, perhaps you know someone. So I would like, do we have a hat or a basket?
Anybody have a hat we can use? Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, that's perfect.
I love it.
That's perfect.
Always prepared.
That is perfect.
Look at
Thank
the presentation,
you.
yeah.
Did you guys? Oh yeah, you guys can.
I'll hold it here.
Okay.
And we have a guest. We'll let him draw.
All right.
Is that all right?
So if
And the winner is. And the winner is. Some kind of insight.
who is that? James Clary. Oh, hi. Please come up and claim your prize. This is a lovely umbrella. So perhaps you know someone and a fan. And I'll tell you, you really do have to know how to open these. So I'm going to show you something to hold that.
Can you add one of these and just open up this? Does it come with ice cream or no ice cream? No. Okay.
You're just welcome, and I'm sure there will be someone in your life that would appreciate those, if not you. Because as Joanne said, men, you know, they're doing the hot and cold flashes as well. And also, I will have copies of my book in April. So I'd like to say we'll draw a name for someone to get a copy for free, complimentary.
The same person can't win. I have his card back in here, but
All right, so
let's get somebody else to draw. So how about Paul? How about you, Paul? You want to draw one?
It's not that
The vice president in charge.
I guess you do someday.
It's in the dark. You can't see it.
picking Marti's card.
Oh, it says Joyce. Seller.
oh,
Right.
I need that. I'm gonna put them in this book so I'll make sure.
She won for that.
She won a copy of The Wisdom Chair, A Journey from Common Sense to Divine Wisdom. All right, now, part of what happened when I was here last time, Wade, speaking of Wade, he said if we were a mastermind group the way he thought we would be a mastermind group, he would probably have already resolved the problem that he had with a business proposition that he's been thinking about. He thought that if we were a mastermind group in that sense, he would already be pretty darn wealthy with the product that he has. So I don't know how much more time there is, but let's do that mastermind piece, because that's what we're here for. You know, if you've got a question and this room of people can help you with it, let's do that, because that's where I think we want to move to. Let's move each other's businesses forward. Let's sell tickets for one another. You know, let's make comments on Facebook. Let's advertise. Let's start to do those things. I would love it if when we leave here, at least everyone would pick 3 people to promote their business. That would be so fabulous. That would just be wonderful.
Wanna draw one?
Then I bet you we start filling up this room, because you'll be able to say, I got 2 clients, 2 new clients. I'm going to that. So let's really start to do that. Let's not get lazy. All right, so who is it that we are going to ask you to present your problem, issue, concern? It is. All right, am I missing?
Parks Pool.
Oh, Parks Pool Service. Okay, I was looking for a name. Yes, Parks Pool Service. Okay, there's no name on here. Okay, Kelly. So, what concern, issue, problem, victory, whatever it is, that we might be able to help you with as a group that you want? What do you want to present?
We're going to time it. We're going to give 2 minutes.
Okay.
When it buzzes, then you'll get cut off, and then, because if not, people speak forever. And then we'll give up the 2 minutes for feedback for the rest of the
Okay.
meeting. Yeah.
All right. Yes.
So what do I think you can help me with?
Yes.
Probably my sales pitch. Starting with that. I'd like to work on that, publish it, and my ability to sell myself and my business, which is kind of the same thing, you know, but and to meet more people like you guys who are positive and going places and not, you know, kind of stuck in the muck and go to same old, you know, positive thinkers. That's and people who have faith, you know, that's what I pray for and hope for all the time.
Okay, folks. Sales pitch.
What
He
is
is
it?
pool service. Service, repair, and cleanups. So, all right.
I would say that, you know, I don't know what you're saying out there, so I can't help you with that. But what I can help you with is the being around positive people and learning about how to look at yourself. I'm wondering how much you read. The average person that graduated from high school reads an average of 0 nonfiction books a year. 0 isn't a big number. And I tell people that I do business with that if they're going to do business with me on my team, then they're going to have to read at least 15 or 20 minutes a day, something that's worthwhile. I think his name was Charles Jones. He had a middle nickname, I can't remember what it is now, Crazy or whatever, but he said that 5 years from now you're going to be exactly the same as you are today, except for the people you meet and the books you read. So you can meet the people in here, that's only part of the equation. You know, if you're not reading